There we go. Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Burns, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly online event where we cover any kind of activities that may be of interest to librarians across the state. We do these sessions every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time live, and we do record all of them. We've got about 2.5 years worth of recordings now, so if you're unable to attend one of our live sessions here with us, you can always watch our huge list of recordings that we have out there.
Right.
We do all sorts of different things on here. We do kind of sometimes little mini training sessions, Q&As, interviews, whatever we can come up with. And we sometimes have our own staff do here doing sessions, and we sometimes have guest speakers. And today we have a mixture of that.
Combination.
Yeah. Today we're going to be revisiting ALA and talking about some of the best things that we saw there. I did not go to ALA this year, so I am not one of the
Sadly, Krista was not there with us.
But we do have a group of people on with us who will share their experiences of attending ALA this year in New Orleans. We have Mary Jo Ryan from here at the Nebraska Library Commission, and on the phone with us, online with us, we have Amy Mather from Omaha Public Library. Amy, I've unmuted you. You can say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning, Amy. And Jessica Chamberlain, who's our system administrator for Northeast Library System. Jessica, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, great. And Robin Bernstein from Bellevue University, also online with us. You can say hello, Robin. I've got you unmuted.
Uh-oh, maybe Robin
Robin,
muted
are you
herself.
there? She may have. Wait,
Did I lose you?
Yep, you're back. We got you.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. So we've got these 4 people here who are going to be sharing their what they did at ALA. That's the idea for this morning. I'm going to start with Mary Jo because she just happens to be sitting here next to me. So I'm going to just pass on control to you, Mary Jo.
Pass the mouse.
And if anybody, I'm hoping if you have anything you want to chime in about, Amy, Jessica, and Robin, you're all unmuted. Feel free to comment on anything if you feel the need. Each of our presenters will have their own little bit they'll be doing. But then, conversations. If anybody online has anything you want to say about anything or comment on, feel free at any time to just pipe in and say it, and we can do that too.
Absolutely. And if there's anybody who happened to attend any of the sessions that I attended, please do add your comments. That'll make it more interesting, I'm sure, to everybody.
Yeah, I want to see other people's, how they saw the same things you did.
Exactly. Well, let me just get started by saying Krista named this the Best of the ALA Annual Conference, which I thought was a great title, but then I thought, well, I should maybe add that my slides are really just according to me. They are,
of course.
All the things that I did, these are the ones I picked that I thought were the best. The first thing is just a note that I attended the Gates Foundation pre-conference, which they entitled the Public Access Technology Community. And that was the main reason for me to attend ALA, and of course that's why I was able to get a grant to pay for my travel to ALA. It was a full-day pre-conference. There were 3 of us there from Nebraska, and there were participants from 22 states. And these are all participants that have a National Telecommunications Infrastructure Grant, a BTOP grant. That's part of our Nebraska project. Nebraska libraries build broadband. Nebraska, oh God, now I can't do it. Our Nebraska libraries build Nebraska communities. Library broadband builds Nebraska communities. This just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, it's something that just rolls off the tongue. Anyway, our project is one of the projects in the 22 states, and so that's why we were invited to do these things. We were invited to share lessons learned, which is always interesting to see what other people are doing. Some of them are a little ahead of us. They got funded before we did, so it's interesting to see what they've learned and what experiences they've had. It was also interesting to discuss the challenges. We found that many of them have the same challenges that we have with getting supply breakdown, you might say. That's one thing that we've been experiencing here in Nebraska, is that we haven't been able to get the computers as fast as we had hoped and all the other equipment. So other states are experiencing the same thing, of course, because there has been a slight breakdown in that supply chain. We also talked about expanding public access in the broader terms. One of the things that I thought was very interesting is that a big spinoff of this grant is that some of the states that are ahead of us, that are doing things are maybe a month or two or even more, a whole year ahead of us, they are in the phase of actually seeing many customers who come into the libraries, who use the library public access computers, and then their next step is they want to get broadband access in their own home. And so that the library is becoming a resource for helping them figure out how to do that. So again, another one of those things that's on down the road for us once we are feeling really comfortable with all our library centers. They also want to continue innovation, and I thought that was a broad goal, but something that we're always interested in, and to ensure sustainability, to make sure that once these grants are over, that these projects go on, and that libraries continue to be seen as the place in the community to learn and to get access to technology to help learn. Oh dear, can we have the mouse? It's not working.
Go ahead, try again.
Try again?
Ah,
excellent. Okay. Another thing that we did at this session was we launched a new phase of the Gates Assistance to Libraries. It's called the COSLA Peer and Expert Learning Community of Practice. It will entail all of us having access to 2 or 3 conference calls each month on hot topics, and we will list those on the website, the Library Broadband Builds Nebraska Communities website. We'll list those on the website, and we'll also be blogging about those on the Library Commission blog. So please do stay in touch with that blog. You can get to it right on our front page of our new website. Please do go there every day, or better yet, you can RSS feed the blog, and you can also sign up once a week to receive the blog headlines. And if you need any more information about that, let me know, and I'll give you more details on that. They also set up a collaboration site, which I want to show you. Even though I don't have a lot of time, I'm going to try to go to some of these websites, but not spend a whole lot of time there. And then you can go back later. It's called digitalliteracy.gov. I'm trying not to talk while it's going to the websites, because sometimes that's when the sound breaks down. If you find that the sound is breaking down, please chat in your chat box, type in your chat box and tell us.
We did have a little bit of issue at the beginning apparently, but it seems to have cleared up.
Is it clearing up now?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to let you know, there's quite a bit of resources here, a lot of information, but one of the things that I think is going to be really useful to libraries across Nebraska is this section here, Find Educator Tools. And here you can find all kinds of resources that you can point your customers to, and that includes specific subject areas as well as digital literacy skill building, such as online job searching, web searching, email, how to use email. I mean, for people that are at that basic point, you can click here and find all the resources that are available to help your customers do individualized instruction, as well as for you to help instruct them. And then there's other subject area these are areas that have come up continually on our CE surveys that we've done of Nebraska librarians to find out what kind of CE do you need, grant writing, financial literacy, more about broadband. What is this broadband thing? So I think this is going to be a very useful tool as we get our centers set up and people are coming in and they want specific assistance. This is a place you can go to find resources for them. And by the way, this is not just for the quote-unquote BTOP grantees. This is something that can be used by any library, even if you only have one public access computer. It's just the same thing. It's the same resources that our people need. Let me see if I can get back here to this now. Which one is it? This one.
Yep.
The top one. Okay.
There we go.
There will also be focus sessions 4 times a year and BTOP showcases 4 times a year. These are ways I think that are going to be very useful in helping us share and learn from each other and not have to reinvent the wheel. My favorite part, of course, as for those of you who know me, you know that my interest is in marketing and communication. So my favorite part was to take a look at what some of the marketing materials are that are in use for some of these grantees who've been doing this a little longer than we have. Here's one that I thought, this is a series, and I thought this was good, and again, for those of you who know me, you'll know why I think this is good. These are extremely target audience focused. The materials are focused on the specific target audience that they think might want to use their center, their public access computing center, for job search. Now see, that's what I love about this. It's not just about the center. It's hardly even about the center. It's mostly about the customer, what the customer needs and wants, and about the actual thing they can actually do there. So here's one customer. You can see who this customer is. Joanne and I thought he was kind of good looking. He's cute too. This one's cute too. Again, a different target audience, also coming to the Public Computing Center for assistance with job searching. Again, another target audience, job searching. A different target audience. Again, I mean, this is just the kind of thing I think that we want to do in Nebraska is target who are you've got to call in to see if we can do Nebraska works at your libraries. Let's just see if I can do this. Oh boy. Sometimes going to ALA takes a while. Uh-oh, profile name? What does that mean? Well, maybe we won't do this one, but you can do it on your own. You can go to ALA and take a look at these things. Okay. Let me see if I can get back here. Okay. The other thing I attended was the Public Access Technology Benchmark Initiative session. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Benchmark Initiative, it's again something the Gates Foundation is supporting. And what they want to do is ensure voluntary adoption of public access benchmarks for library and local government partners to use. And they want them to use them in public libraries primarily, but you can see how they might be useful in others. They want to assess the quality of library public access technology services. In other words, if you have that public access computer center, what's the quality level? If you just have one computer and it's public access, what's the quality of services? They want to demonstrate the value of library public access to technology services to our people and our communities. So in other words, what's the point of it? What's the actual point? What difference does it make? They want to motivate ongoing investment. They talk about how you can use some of this information to access more local money for your public access computing, as well as to access Gates money. Gates is going to, the impression is, let me just say, the impression is that Gates is going to fund some public library demonstration projects based on these benchmarks. They want to help us create a local dialogue that goes something like, if we can do this with the resources we have now, we could do this more with this more resources. So this helps us have that conversation with people who maybe don't really know that much about what it could be. They only know what they see, which is what it is now.
This is a change from what Gates has done in the past. As some of you know, they did providing computers for libraries and internet and whatnot, and now they're switching gears and no longer doing equipment and hardware, but going to this kind of thing
right
instead. Right now, some of the libraries in Nebraska know we have the Gates hardware grant going on at the moment, which is wrapping up this year, and that is the last hardware-based series of grants that the Gates Foundation is doing, and now they're moving into this area instead.
Right. So I think this is going to be important, and actually we're going to have a technology planning retreat in 4 locations across the state, August 22nd and 23rd, and I think maybe we'll try and have some information about this there too for people, so people can take a look at it. We'll just, the way they'll have an idea what this is all about. The idea is it's aspirational, so it is not a way of recognizing the status quo. It's a way for everybody to reach higher and do more. It is voluntary. So it was very clear on the part of the group that's working on this that they realize it must be relevant to libraries of all sizes. The idea is to help all libraries recognize achievements, to provide a path for continuous improvement, and to focus on the actual uses of technology, to stop talking as much about the technology the computers, the blah, 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 whatever it is today, the smartphones, but to instead talk about how technology is used for education and how libraries support that use, workforce development, how technology is used for workforce development, how libraries support that use, again, access to court and health information, how libraries support that use. That's the whole point of this. Another thing I did is attended a pre-conference on turning the page. And turning the page is, as some of you already know, some of you have attended the turning the page workshops. For those of you who haven't, this is now online. And I'm going to be part of a cohort that goes through a pilot of an online session that would be a learner cohort. In other words, you aren't just working alone, you're working with other people who are at the same stage in learning as you are. So I went to this pre-conference, and then what I learned is that the free advocacy training from PLA is to develop leadership skills, to develop compelling library stories, meaning we can each develop our own story of our library that compels people to support our library. Building those community partnerships that support our library, enhancing our presentation skills, seeking public and private funding, implementing outreach strategies. And the reason, of course, that I'm interested in this is that I think this is something that our libraries across the state might want to get involved in, because when we did our last Nebraska Library Commission CE, Continuing Education Survey, two things that came out on that were directly related to what this provides. They asked for assistance in raising the library profile. You asked for assistance in raising money. So this, I think, might end up being a real resource for us, and I'll be working on that this year.
Now, also, for some of you who were in the Gates hardware grant program over the last couple of years, that turning the page was one of the requirements. So libraries here in Nebraska and in other states who were also got the Gates Foundation hardware grants attended these sessions in person. We went up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for ours. So there are some librarians across the state here in Nebraska who have attended this before in person, so you might see if they have some ideas about how it went there. Now the same program that these guys went to and the Gates Foundation paid for them to attend is available for everyone free online.
Yeah. So some things to think about. What is this really about? It's about changing public perception. It's about telling your story. It's about you developing as a leader. It's about building relationships. It's about the big ask, which some people have trouble with. And it's about, so now what? What do we do next? How do we keep going? We'll be reviewing web-based modules. We'll participate in threaded discussion, which is an email discussion. We'll participate in online virtual classroom sessions 1 hour a week and turn in homework. So I'll be getting back to you on this to see if other people are interested in it, doing it as well. Another thing I attended, I'm a member of the PR Assembly, which is an ALA committee. And this committee each year puts on a program called the PR Forum. And this year the program was Going Mobile at Your Library. And that forum is one of my favorite things to do each year because it's so interesting. And this year was very interesting because Going Mobile at Your Library is really very cutting edge in terms of what many libraries are doing to access, both to market their services to their customers, but also to deliver services to their customers. So it's a pretty cool thing. This is the PR Forum Facebook page. Now if I can just, yeah, there we go. Joe Murphy was the speaker. Some of you will remember him from LA last year. He was one of the speakers.
Hold on just a second. We apparently are having some sound difficulties, although the interface is not telling us anything like that.
Uh-oh.
Let's try this. Close this for now. Let's see if that helps. Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to talk again, and hopefully
You said it just cleared up.
it just cleared up. Okay, that was that being open, leaving
Possibly,
that.
yeah.
Okay, we won't do
That's
that
the one
anymore.
warning that ever says is try and close as much as you can.
Okay, next time we'll close. If you'd like to know more about this Joe Murphy slideshow, it's at this site. I won't go to it, but it's Joe Murphy's site. There are those at this Joe Murphy, for those of you who remember him, just to give you an idea what these sessions at ALA are like, for those of you who have never been to ALA, I mean, they're set up for 200, 250 people, and sometimes these rooms are completely full. I mean, that's how big these sessions are. But he was very engaging, and he was able to engage people quite well, even though he was in a giant room. And again, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning with some god-awful time on Sunday morning after Saturday night in New Orleans, let me just say. There's a resource list here on the Facebook page, on the PR Forum Facebook page. And the resources, let's stop talking for a minute until it gets up.
It seems to be that it's going in and out for no apparent reason. Michael says it cleared up before we actually closed the browser, just on its own, the sound. So I don't know what. I apologize if there's sound issues. I don't know. There's nothing I can adjust from our end. It's broadband. It's the internet. I don't know.
Let me just show you real quick where this resource list is, just in case you're interested. Facebook, PR Forum, discussion list, mobile technologies, and libraries. And you can see there's just a ton of resources here. So again, quite a lot of resources about what's going on in mobile technology and libraries. And I'm going to shut this in the hopes that the sound clears up. I don't have much time, but I just want to say that one of the things I love because of my personal interest and professional interest in marketing and communication is that ALA is a place to just get access to a plethora of PR resources. I want to point out atyourlibrary.org. If that's not bookmarked and something that you look at all the time, please start looking at it. There's a lot of resources for you.
I was watching TV like last week. USA Network or TNT, I forget which one, it was one of those, and I saw a commercial on national TV in prime time from atyourlibrary.org.
They are really
I was half paying attention to whatever show I was watching, and I was actually on my computer, so kind of half listening, and I was like, wait, are they talking about libraries? I know that. So on national TV, they're doing commercials for libraries. It was pretty cool.
They are kicking it out, and a lot of this stuff is going to be useful to you. You can print it yourself, and you can customize it. If you want more information about that, you can talk to me. Library card sign-up month is September. We can do a lot with the resources that are on this website. Not going to go to it because I'm afraid it's going to screw up our sound, but it's definitely something you can use right in your own hometown to get more people signed up and use it in the schools to get more students signed up having library cards. This is a new website for ALA. It's part of atyourlibrary.org, but it's a customer-oriented website. So it's really for customers, but you can point to it. It's connect with your kids at your library. I think it looks like it's got a lot of potential. It's just getting going.
Oh, yeah.
This is an older campaign, one maybe you're using. You can localize it with your local teams in your town. Doesn't have to be Major League Baseball. So Step Up to the Plate is going on this summer. And that is the end of what I think was the best. There was a ton more, obviously, all the exhibits. Free coffee mug, you know, from a vendor. It's just endless. Yes. But on the other hand, you have to focus on some things, and I think I've kind of focused on the things that were most important to me this year and that I learned the most.
ALA can be huge and intimidating because it is the biggest library conference in the country that we have. 20,000, usually some odd librarians and vendors and whoever descending on one city and taking it over for about 5 days. So you definitely do have to pick and choose what you're going to do. So does anybody have any questions or anything for Mary Jo? Questions, comments, suggestions, anything from the Peanut Gallery?
You can always pipe up later, or you can email me as well.
Doesn't look like it at the moment. Okay. I think we will next go to Amy. Amy, are you still there for us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so I have some nuggets of information. Loved your presentation, your digital literacy, because I think I'm going to start a little backwards because I'm actually waiting for some screenshots for somebody to show you a new app, but I will do that last. Hopefully he can get that over to me.
before you go on, Amy, do you have a presentation or stuff you want to show?
Yes,
Slideshow?
so I was hoping
Okay.
you can give me control.
Yes, I will, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to make you the presenter, so hold on just a second. And you should get a pop-up for you to take control and then share your screen.
Show my screen. And I apologize to everybody. I have lots of tabs open, so I might be jumping around for just a second.
Yep, we can see your screen now. Yep, very bright.
Okay, excellent.
There too.
Let me figure out where I am at. So I'm going to just talk about three things. I spoke on 2 panels, and there were several of us on each of those panels, and also had a meeting with an old colleague of mine, because I used to work for those of you who don't know, work at Omaha Public Library, but prior to that I worked at ProQuest for several years. So it's been an interesting sort of move over from vendor world to public library world, because I see, for me, a huge disconnect to what vendors are trying to build for librarians mostly, and not really for the end users. So I think I don't see a whole lot of working outside of the, I hate to use this cliche, but thinking outside of their box, because it's just the same old sort of product building. It's databases, research databases, and for what I've noticed, what I hear is that database usage is going down. So we have to think of interesting ways for people to look at stuff. So anyway, so I will talk about my colleague and what he has is starting to, and it was in, I don't know if anybody, whoever did go to ALA, there was an aisle that had green at your library and new technology trends at your library. So it was really interesting to see what was going on. So the first panel that I spoke on was RUSA, and it was Marketing on a Dime. And it was a great panel. And so Manya Shore, who used to work with me, who now works at Sacramento Public Library, we spoke about reaching out to the business community, which is a huge interest for me. And one of the ways to do that is to use, actually, your resources that your public library subscribes to, and kind of market toward them, in that, if you're ask them what the research needs are, basically. So you don't just go there and show them oh, this is our A to Z databases. You ask them what kind of things do you do every day, and then go there and tailor it to them. And it's been very successful. And let me just figure out where I'm at. So one of the, and I actually learned before I spoke on this panel, learned how to use Prezi. Does everybody know what Prezi is? Maybe not. But anyway, I loved it. So this is our presentation, Marketing Reference on a Dime, and we had several panelists, and they were all wonderful. But one of the things that I think that was really fun, and I cannot wait to, I don't know if anybody's ever seen that little weird cartoon where it's iPhone and Evo, but they kind of use that spoof, and I just want to show, hopefully, let me figure out where it is. So this is their little, it's using Extra Normal, and you could just go there and create your own. But it's a really funny cartoon about how to get users into the library and how to do research. So using the cartoon method. And I don't, Krista, do you think people can hear it if I, probably not, or they probably just need to go here, right?
You'd have to just put your microphone up to your speakers, and it would catch the sound that way. It doesn't feed it through GoToWebinar.
Okay, so it's probably not going to work, but I encourage everybody to to look this up or go to the Prezi presentation and look at this, because it is hysterical. And this is one of the things that I want to do actually for for public libraries, because I think that it would be a really fun way to sort of talk about what kind of resources we have and what kind of events we have, in a really fun way that might get to an audience, like 20, 30, 40-year-olds that be like, oh my gosh, the library has all these, really interesting events, and they've made this really spoofy cartoon about it. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the extra normal things that people have done on all sorts of different topics and about different professions and things. So outside the library world, some people may have seen this and it may catch their attention. Yeah, that, oh, I've seen that before, and now the library is using it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely hysterical, and it kind of showed the power of like viral marketing. And this can be tweeted out, Facebooked about. So I'm pretty excited to actually start working on something with this. So the second panel that I spoke on was working towards transliteracy. So that the digitalliteracy.gov was one of the things that was brought up and as a resource for people to go to. And I am on the Transliteracy Interest Committee, and I have to say, like, one of the struggles, I think, with that term, and I don't know if anybody's been following Bobby Newman's blog, Transliteracy in Libraries, but I've had a really difficult time sort of understanding the concept altogether, because a lot of people, and me, who I am on the committee, but I think it really sort of came, there was two different panels that day. One was talking about transliteracy and one was working towards transliteracy. And to me, transliteracy is being able to sort of jump from one, like I jumped from a book. I jumped from a book to an e-book. I jumped from an e-book to an iPhone. And there's no interruption for me. So I have transliteracy. I'm good. But a lot of people have that, what I would call an interruption. So they of course have, they might be able to pick up a book and read it, and they're fine with that. But as soon as they go to an e-book or to a smartphone or anything like that, there is a huge interruption of able to transfer their current knowledge of understanding the print book to the electronic item. And that is sort of what transliteracy is all about. Richard Kong, who was one of the panelists on our panel, did just an amazing presentation, which I really loved, and I'm actually following him all over now, from LinkedIn to his SlideShare to Facebook to his Twitter account, everything, because I think he works at Skokie Public Library, and one of the things he talked about, which I really agree with, is like, I'm just going to find him. Hold on one second. Sorry about this. It'll take me just a minute. Let me bring up his blog. So he talks about cooking in the kitchen, which is sort of the concept of here we go, from grocery store to kitchen. So can everybody see that, from grocery store to kitchen? Hopefully.
Yep, we see it.
Okay, good. So his kind of idea, which I agree to, is like, we need to stop, like, sort of, libraries have all this stuff. Of course, we have computers. We have all these things that people can come in and check out, but, and it doesn't really mean anything to anybody. So what his driving point home was, like, what we need to do is to sort of create ways for people to, if it's an ebook class, or if it's a computer class, or, if it's trying to create whatever you're trying to do to make an individual more transliterate, then you need to make it meaningful to them. And I absolutely believe that, because, even teaching, internet beginner classes here to intermediate, what I really try to do is you have to think about, like, what are these people, what are they interested in? Are they interested in, like, trying to get a job? Is it like they really just want to come and learn how to fill out an application online and that's it? Or do they want to learn how to search Craigslist? Or do they even know about Craigslist? Like, so it can be something either one of those, but it has to be meaningful to them, because if you just show them, I mean, just think about us. If we are presented with information and we don't really care, then it's pretty much forgotten. So he's a very interesting guy. So I am really excited to sort of connect with him and learn and sort of get more involved with the whole digital literacy, transliteracy, and working with the public with that. And so I'm still waiting for slides from my friend, but I'll go ahead and talk about it. The very first thing I did when I was at ALA was connect with an old colleague from my past life in the vendor world, and he has created an app called Browsine. I don't know if anybody's heard of this, but we are actually alpha testing it. It's in the alpha stage right now, and it is an iPad app, only on the iPad, and basically what Browsine does is that it crawls, it takes all your full text aggregated databases that you have for your library and makes them available to patrons, and it's sort of an easy, pretty way. So I'm just going to show you some screenshots of like sort of the very first iteration that we are testing, even though they've updated it a little bit. So I'm going to bring that up. And so this is basically when you open up the app, what you'll see is, they're not the pretty magazine covers, but they are the magazine covers. You have the Futurist, Consumer Reports, Dog World, Field and Stream, whatever it may be. And so what they're doing is looking for like those top journals. So they're not going to bring up any heavy-duty academic type journals if they're, rarely, the full text is not available, A, and B, if it's not one of sort of the top tier journals. So this is what you're presented with, just sort of like, the bookshelf kind of view. And then when you open one, for example, Consumer Reports, which comes out of one of the EBSCO databases, you see all the articles. Then it tells you what issue it is, May 2011, and then you have a little button here that you can go to back issues, and then if you keep scrolling down and click on one of those articles, you will get the article. So to me, this is really wonderful, wonderful in a lot of ways, because people have no idea that Consumer Reports is located in an EBSCO database called, wherever it is, Academic Search Premier, or one of those other, very generically named databases that nobody has any idea what they mean. I barely know what they mean. So people understand what Consumer Reports is, and they know. They don't know that we actually have it unless it's in print, unless they come in the library and find it, or if we actually have consumerreports.org as a database, which we do, but a lot of people still don't even know that. So to me, this is a really, really fun way, especially with the young professionals, to go out who everybody owns a tablet or an iPad. Even though this is only going to be on the iPad, they hope to expand out, but tons of people have iPads. And so what you could be like, did you know that we have this Browsine app that crawls all the magazines, the top magazines, so they can get the Harvard Business Review, they can get, Consumer Reports, whatever. So I'm really, really excited to see where this is going to go, because one, I think this will drive usage up, and hugely, it just will, because I think this is where people are. This is how people are searching for information now. It definitely is like sort of in an app world. And one of the concerns, we had we had Montessor there. We had like Lindsay Bray there, our technology librarian here at Omaha Public Library. Rivka Sass was there looking at this. And one of the concerns, not everybody has like an iPad, which we do know. But of all those people that do have iPad, how many of those are actually coming to the library looking for information? So I think even though we're not going to be able, this is not a resource for everyone, but I do think that this will drive, that this will actually get users from, population that we are missing out, which is sort of the 20, 30, 40 years old that has not come back in. So that is the 3 wonderful nuggets that I got out of ALA.
Thanks, Amy.
Any questions?
I was glad to hear that you originally said this is an iPad app, and that you said they're looking at it to be for other tablets too. I was just seeing an article yesterday, the day before, about the future of computer purchasing. People supposedly, is what they're thinking, are going to be buying more tablet computers instead of desktops. So that's
absolutely. I'm actually even considering it. My laptop is, ready to die, and I use an iPad, that the library has, and I just almost find that it might be just all that I need. But it is.
To tell you the truth, I've just about replaced my laptop with my iPad. I hardly ever use my laptop anymore.
It's so easy to just carry with you. It's so much easier than hauling. Like, even the laptop is just heavier and more cumbersome than the iPad. So I am pretty excited.
Comment from the Peanut Gallery. Michael Sowers, our technology innovation librarian here at the Library Commission, says, none of you write books.
Well, this is true.
For that purpose, it might not be.
This is true. He is correct. If you want to write for a long time, type for a long time,
you need a real keyboard.
I'm happy to have my laptop for the long time typing.
Right. Oops. Sorry about that.
Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything for Amy? Nothing came up while you were talking, by the way.
Okay. If you have comments,
so, yeah,
just go ahead and we'll feed them to Amy.
Yes, go ahead, Amy.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think we will switch over to we've got Jessica and Robin on the line. Jessica, if you don't mind, I'm going to switch over to Robin first. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's see. I need to switch back to me, and then and Robin, I am going to, Robin, you don't have a presentation, right? So I don't need to make you presenter?
A slideshow?
A slideshow or anything? Robin, are you still there? Robin, are you there? Can you hear us? I'm going to have you go next.
Robin, if something's wrong with your microphone or for some reason we're not hearing you, could you type in your chat box that you're there and we're not hearing you?
Did you mute yourself from your side, possibly?
Did we lose her?
No, she's still there. She's here, yeah. We don't hear you. I've got you unmuted on our side. Have you muted your microphone on the interface, or?
For those of you out there, I'm sorry about the dead air. I'm an old radio person. Can't stand these pauses.
Oop, she just went offline. Okay, it looks like Robin is having connection issues or is going to try log on off and back on. While she's doing that, Jessica, let's go to you instead. We have a backup.
All right.
Are you good? All right. And I know you do have a presentation you want to do. So
Yes, I do.
Make you a presenter now. And we are seeing your screen, my favorite things. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, if I can get my slideshow to start here. I'm kind of going to take a little bit of a different route on what I wanted to share. I tried to think about things that would be really applicable to a lot of different people that would be listening or watching. So, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to go really fast, but all these links in the slideshow will be up on the NCompass Live site and on their Delicious account. So the first one is a couple of...
I just want to, actually, while you're mentioning that, I'll grab that. And for everybody who's on here, any slides that we put up and URLs, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I'm glad you reminded me, Jessica. We will have all of this posted up when we do the recording. So you'll have links to all these presentations and any of these URLs. So hopefully you haven't tried to write any of this down. Go ahead, Jessica.
Okay, so the first one I want to just briefly touch on is called Better World Books, and as I've been visiting libraries in the past year or so, a lot of people really struggle with the idea of weeding because they still see value in the books that are on their shelves, and they don't want to just recycle these books. They want them to go on and do some good in the world. So Better World Books is it is a company that is a great solution for this problem if you find that you're having trouble weeding because you just don't want to throw things in the recycle bin. What they do is you sign up for an account with them. You can print off shipping labels. You box up all your weeded books and ship them to them for free. They attempt to sell your books in a variety of different online marketplaces like Amazon or Alibris and different kind of online stores. And when they sell, you get a percentage of the net profits. If they think that your book is not sellable or they try to sell it and it doesn't, then it is donated to a literacy charity. And they do work with a variety of charities that are well known and promote literacy around the world. So the value here is that no book is thrown away. You either get money back for that book or you know that that book went on to serve a second or third life in a charity situation. A very similar company is called thriftbooks.com. They do the same kind of thing. You ship the books for free. They try to sell them. A difference here is, and now this is from the vendor at Thrift Books. He says that they give you 50% of the net profit. He said that Better World Books percentage is much smaller, but I didn't verify that with them, so I'm not sure what that would be. But they do give you 50% of the net profit of the sale. And another unique thing they will do is they'll set up an online store just for your library if you want to. You can link it from your website, and then any book sales that come from your online store are considered direct sales, and so you get a higher percentage of the profit. And I thought that was a really neat thing. I hadn't heard of anything like that before and wanted to throw that out there for people to see. Another solution for getting rid of some books that your library doesn't want anymore is called bookmooch.com. In the past, this has really been for individuals, but they really are trying to market this service to libraries now. You do all the entry yourself of the books that you want to give away. So I wouldn't recommend this if you do a huge weeding project or if you have a lot of books you want to get rid of, but it'd be great for handfuls or periodic maintenance of your collection, getting rid of some things. You type in the books that you want to give away. Someone will request that book. You send it to them, and for every book that you send out, you get points in the BookMooch system. And then you use those points to get books from other people. So it's just a way of swapping books, unwanted titles for new-to-you titles from others. So I thought that was kind of fun. Actually, we do have a library in Northeast Nebraska that used this last year and was really pleased with it. She thought it was a great program for her library. And it was a small library, and it really served a purpose for her. And if I love free things, and so I wanted to share some of the great free things that I saw. And that's one of the great things I think about going to ALA is that you really get outside your regular contacts and you get connected with all this information, and there's so many great resources out there that it's just hard to know about all of them. So these are some really great resources that I thought were just invaluable, and they're being offered to libraries for free. The first one is the Secrets of the Sequence videos, and they come with lesson plans. These were created by the Virginia Commonwealth University, and they focus on life sciences and genetics and DNA and things. The lessons are really interesting, great visually. They have lesson plans with them. They're aimed for high high school audience, but would be an excellent resource to connect your homeschooling families with, or even GED classes could use these. Really super high quality programming available for free. And then NASA has a program called Museum in a Box. And again, this is aimed at K-12 audiences. Would be a great idea for a summer reading program activity, or to promote to your teachers or homeschooling families. This is really super. It's brand new, so none of the kits are available to loan yet. There are a couple of online lessons that you can download for free, but when the materials become available to loan, you can borrow like realia from space flights, and then it includes lesson plans and activities to do with like space shuttle tires or the tiles from the space shuttle. So kids really get a hands-on, touch these space shuttle artifacts and then do something with them, and I thought that was really a lot of fun. This is hands down my favorite freebie that I've found, and this is available for school librarians or young adult librarians. Excuse me. And you can see in the picture there, you get this free starter set. If you are, one of those people I mentioned, you get all these game boards and you get instruction booklets and all these cool things to play this ancient Asian game of Go. It's a strategy game that is appropriate for kids through adults. And if you don't mind paying the cost of shipping, you get a 23-volume set of the Hikaru no Go manga series that you could add to your collection or use as part of this program. And I just think this is the neatest thing. It would be a lot of fun, and I can see tons of uses for this in schools and public libraries. So the website is on there if you're interested in that. And then because I do love free things, one of my favorite sessions I went to was beautiful and cheap websites and tools for low-tech libraries. And some of the highlights of just their free resources that they gave out were the site's defont.com, where you can get free downloadable fonts from a safe, trusted website. And I had not seen this one before. And there's literally thousands of fonts on there that you can use for posters and different fun things in your library. And if you're looking for backup services or to sync your files across multiple devices or access your things in different locations, there are two services that they highlighted. One is Dropbox.com and the other one is Voila.com. And both of those, you can upload files to them, and then you can access your work files from home or vice versa, or if you work on a desktop and a laptop, you can put them in there and then access them from the cloud wherever you are. Another nice thing is that they are encrypted and they're fairly safe, and they also, you can access them, like I said, from multiple devices, but also from smartphones. So you can also work from your iPad, your iPhone, or your BlackBerry, or whatever it is that you use. And then the last one was, I just love this website. How secure is my password?
Jessica.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just have a comment from Michael Sowers from here at the Commission. Says that he recommends Voila because it does encrypt your content, and Dropbox does not do that, if that is something you are concerned about.
Okay. Yeah, and I believe,
it depends on what you're using it for. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you were doing things that you really need to remain private, they did say that Voila encrypts it before it's even uploaded to the cloud. So that way, even if someone did hack into their service, it's all encrypted already. And so they're, and you're right, that's a good point to make. Voila is stronger on security if that's an issue. The How Secure Is My Password.net, you can see the little screenshot here, and you basically just type your password into this little box, and it will tell you down here how long it would take a PC to hack your password. And I was really embarrassed because I used, a combination of numbers and letters, and I thought I had some pretty good passwords, and mine were horrible. And so this is really just a neat little thing to check, and it's a safe thing to type in. They don't keep any of your information or, use your password, of course. So just to test the security of your passwords, that's just a nice little tool. So I know that was a lot, and I know I talked really fast, but if there are any questions?
Anybody have any questions, comments, anything for Jessica? Doesn't look like anything's coming through. Yep, people say nice presentation though. Thank you very much, Jessica. Sure. Robin, are you back with us?
I am back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you great now. We don't know
Great.
but she's back.
I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm here. Well, I'm going to talk even faster than Jessica if I could, just so that we stay at least close to our time limit here. But I did want to say that, are you sure? Well, I know other people may have to go.
No, no problem. We don't have, it's not going to cut us off or anything. We'll just have a slightly longer recording. And actually,
okay.
Go right ahead.
All right. Well, I just want to piggyback on something that Mary Jo said about the mobile downloads that she attended. What I thought was very, very good was the free mobile download that ALA offered at the conference, which I could download to my smartphone, and it provided the schedule right at my fingertips, which is all I had to walk around with. I didn't need the big book. I could put all of my schedule in there. It told me what room, where I needed to be, and everything. So mobile is the way to go. I agree with that. Also, Amy talked about iPads, and that was one thing that I really noticed there, that everyone had iPads. So I did break down and bought myself one this weekend. So I have joined the iPad generation. But I basically did what everybody else did, attended sessions, visited with vendors, you know, schmoozed with colleagues, and also reconnected with friends. One of the things that continually amazes me at ALA is that I seem to always run into Nebraska people. There are 20,000 plus attendees that go to these conferences, and I see more Nebraskans at ALA than I do when I'm in Nebraska. So that's always fun to meet up with them and catch up. Let's see. Bellevue University has a big initiative with their strategic plan on student learning outcomes. So I tended to gravitate to sessions that focused on that, and I found 4 really good ones that I attended. The first one that I attended was called Demonstrating the Value of the Library. This session was standing room only, and when I mean standing room, it was way out into the hallway. This room was just too small for the amount of people that showed up. Anyone who knows Megan Oatleaf knows that she just draws people in, and unfortunately the room was not big enough for everybody to hear her, which was very, very unfortunate because she gave a lot of good information. I don't have a lot of time to go into it today, so if you want to contact me afterwards, I'd be more than happy to talk about anything that I did hear. Another session was called Return on Investment in a Tough Economy. I think it's really interesting how many different ways you can talk about the same topic, you know, what people call it. And, this one, I probably took away that when you're surveying patrons, we should be asking them how much money are they willing to spend on our resources and services. We always all ask the question, you know, what is the time spent using the resources in various ways, depending on what we want to find out. But to really gauge what the estimate of the value of the library is, we do need to determine what the value is to the individual. So I thought that was an interesting takeaway. The third session was using today's numbers to plan tomorrow's services, and it focused on some studies that are going on at Columbia University and Cornell University. Columbia focused their research on virtual reference, and then Cornell's research emphasized the need for benchmarks with their peer institution, which of course are the Ivy League institutions. And the last session related to student learning outcomes that I attended was just titled Outcomes Assessment. And this really focused on how you should show the students what they are learning. You want to really know what they're learning, and they gave some good ideas on how to structure those and some good tips to say only look at maybe 2 to 5 outcomes, because for every outcome that you do right, you do have to assess them. So it's going to be more work in the long run if you decide to have many outcomes. But 2 key points that I walked away with from that session was to start where we want to end and work backwards. We always tend to say, okay, we go from here to there. but we want to be there, and so then you work backwards to find out how we get that to that point. And the other is everyone always talks in generalities and describes what it is. What they suggested is you always know what it, and I'm talking it in quotes, is before you say it. You know, so for example, when you say, I know it when I see it, you don't know it if you don't describe what it is. So those are some things I took away from my student learning outcomes sessions that I attended. Of course, there was a lot more. Other sessions that I attended focused on future trends of libraries. Some were presented in a lightning round session, which, although it's very good, you get to hear from a lot of people. I did not get a lot out of it, only because I wanted to hear so much more about what they were talking about, and you have a very limited amount of time. The keynote speakers were very good. The opening session was quite explosive. Dan Savage gave a very powerful speech, and then Molly Shannon in the closing session was quite moving. What I didn't know about her was that her mother had died very young, and she was a librarian, and how Molly got to learn about her mother was she talked to the people she worked with at libraries and so forth, and they told her what kind of person her mother was, and that's how she got to know her mother. I also attended the Citizens for Libraries, ALTAF, the Association of Library Trustees, Advocate Friends, and Foundations Gala Author Tea, and that was very, very nice. In addition to the little sandwiches that we were given and cookies, I was very impressed with the authors and their moving stories. The first author was Eleanor Brown, and she talked about the Weird Sisters, and so she talked about her birth order with her family, and it just seemed everybody who spoke after her used the birth order, pecking order to generate conversation. So it was very, very good, and the time went by very fast. I was hoping it would have lasted longer, but as we know, all good things come to an end. Let's see. I found some products, of course, that we're going to purchase for my institution. One that I would like to have would be kind of a DVD vending machine. I think it might increase our circulation, who knows. Like us and many others, circulation is declining once we get into the online realm. So I'm thinking this might, you know, increase circulation. Who knows? Maybe down the road we'll find out. The most shocking announcement for me was the retirement of Jay Jordan at OCLC, which I believe some stuff has been sent out about that now. I was surprised I didn't see that coming. And I wish I had more time because there's so much more I would like to say. The only thing I can recommend is if you do know anyone who's attended ALA, be sure to talk to them. They have a lot to offer, and ALA has a lot to offer. And in my experiences, people like to talk about what they hear and learn. So don't be shy about asking people. And if you want to know more, you can always contact me at any time. And that's about it.
Thanks, Robin. We do have a question from the audience, not necessarily for you, but wondering if anyone attended any of the speakers in the auditorium speaker series. Did anybody?
You know, I didn't, because there were so many other things I had to go to, and they looked so good. One of them was Brandon Sanderson, who is an Omaha author who's very famous in the science fiction fantasy world. And I really wanted to get to that one, but another thing was happening. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. You can't do everything. How about the others of you? Did you get to attend any of the auditorium speakers?
No, I didn't make it.
I didn't either. Yeah, same reasons that there's so many good things going on at the same time, and I always just felt pulled to go to a different session instead of. But last year I did go to several in the auditorium speaker series, and they were excellent. So I assume that this year's were as well.
Yeah, I was good just to make it to the opening and closing sessions.
Yeah. One year I heard Ted Kuzer in the auditorium stage, nice. And he was wonderful, of course. It was when he was poet laureate. And he read a poem, but he also talked about the writing of his children's book, Bag in the Wind, and how when he was trying to get it published, one of the publishers said, well, we'd like to publish it as a picture book with no words. And Ted kind of went, but now, wait a minute, I'm the poet laureate. I think I should have some words in my book.
Yeah, here's the page about it. Yes, it's a long list of authors that just speak, and it's very good if you can get to it for when there is someone who you're interested in seeing. Yes.
I think if you go down there, you can get, there's a picture of Brandon Sanderson. There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, science fiction fantasy panel. Yeah.
And I think if you wanted to hear a little bit more or read a little bit more about what happened, you can read the cog notes. They're online.
Yes, Cognote is published daily when you're at ALA about what happened the day before, so you can get kind of a on-the-spot reporting of what happened at conference.
Right.
One thing I wanted to mention is that we are offering through our grant from IMLS to our scholarship recipients the opportunity to apply for a stipend to attend a conference like ALA or MPLA or PLA. And so if any of you know a scholarship recipient who's right now working on their degree, these are people working on associate degrees, bachelor's degrees, and master's degrees. If you know anybody, would you please encourage them to go to a national or a regional conference using their stipend? I know it sounds intimidating, but we'll have, wherever a scholarship student goes, we'll have someone going with them as a mentor. And really, I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for our scholarship students to add to their educational experience that they're getting in school. So encourage people.
Absolutely. Okay, anybody else have anything to say, comments, questions, anything about ALA this year? Anybody in our audience or any of our speakers? We're almost about quarter after here, so we'll probably wrap it up since we've gone a little over. We did start a little late, a few minutes, with our microphone issues on our end.
Yeah, we were having some microphone issues. I hope we can resolve that.
Yeah.
Thanks for bearing with us.
But it sounds like things cleared up and everything's going well. So doesn't look like there's anything urgent coming through. Thank you very much to all of our speakers, Amy, Jessica, and Robin, our virtual speakers on the line, and Mary Jo, here right next to me.
And thank you, Krista, for getting us through it.
I think it was great. For people who weren't able to make it to ALA, it is a you know, you can't always get there. You can get a scholarship or someone to sponsor you. Lots of organizations do that too. If it's nearby where you live, try and get to it. Definitely at some time. I'm not sure where is it next year?
Anaheim.
Anaheim. That's right, Anaheim in California. Go to Disneyland and go to ALA. That's what I did when we
What
went.
could be better?
What?
I said, what could be better?
Yeah, exactly. Plan a vacation. So we've got people online saying thank you for the great presentations. Okay, so thank you everyone for attending this week's NCompass Live on ALA. And we hope you join us next week when we will have Emily Nimsicant, who is the cataloging librarian here at the Library Commission. Her topic is what's happening with genre headings. The Library of Congress has changed how its genre headings are handled, so she's going to try and explain what the heck's going on with all that. So for anybody who's in cataloging world, this is one for you. I hope you join us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.